Yeah.
And boom. Hey guys, we're live. Shout out, man. Hey, Gen X, are we adults yet? Who knows? We probably won't answer that in this episode. Gen X, we had our very own internet. Think Windows 95 era.
Or before that.
Work groups. Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Greg.
We are Gen X, and welcome to our podcast. We're the last generation to grow up without internet
or computers.
We're the last generation that played outside all day. I want to give a shout out to all of our listeners out there, all of our subscribers, and I want to give out to a big shout out to Canada. Easy for me to say. Canadians are coming in strong. We are in almost every territory up north now. We have expanded our viewership, our listenership to our friends up north. So thank you guys. I see you. You guys are seeing.
What's up, Canada?
We are absolutely international. We are picking up new countries. We were going to talk about this next week on our birthday episode, but we're killing it internationally. So thank you guys to anyone outside the United States that catch our content, and a shout out to all of our fellow Americans out there. I love my country, and give a shout out to all you guys too. Our Monday crew, thank you guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, link, check in, do all the things. There's a link in the comments. You guys can just join us live if you want. Hit us up in the comments and do whatever it is you got to do. In fact, let's turn that on. Comments will appear here. All right. So as soon as we get some. Oh, hey, we are in a tri-panel kind of configuration, a 3-panel deal here. We have a guest here tonight. Greg brought one of his buddies on. Michael, how you doing, man?
Doing well. And hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
There we go. Is that better?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, no worries. And thank you for jumping in. I know this was completely last minute, so I'm glad you're free tonight, and thanks for hopping in with us. Tonight, we're going to get into the early days of the internet, computers. There's a whole world of the internet that no longer exists, and today's kids have no idea on how that shit worked, what it looked like. We didn't have the Google search. We had search engines, but we still had to dig from there. We had to keep going, right? So anyways, we're going to get into all of that. But hey, first, I kind of want to set the tone. I want to set the mood. I want to invite everybody. If you've heard this sound, if you've had to deal with this, you know what happened before this sound, you knew what happened after this sound, and you knew everything. Dong.
Oh man. So many memories.
And we all say in unison, hey, that sounds like a 28.8 modem, right?
Overnight downloads.
Yeah.
That sound meant your phone line in your house was dead unless you were a rich kid and had 2 separate phone numbers. You had to have separate phone numbers, not just phones. Mm-hmm. Only the rich people, like the parents' room, would have their own phone number, or like the rich spoiled kid or something. I shout out to all the kids who had them that weren't rich and spoiled.
But so many people did it that they had to start adding new zip codes or area codes because modems. Everyone had 4 or 5 lines in their house. Fax machine.
They would get.
My dogs are about to go crazy. Sorry about that.
I remember that people eventually would get a second line dedicated just for internet. Like that was like the next level. Yep. That was the bougie move, right? You go to 56K, and then what was the one? DSL. It was DSL.
DSL. Yep.
Originally, that was a type of subscriber. That was a digital subscriber line, right? That was a fiber optic cable or a cable.
Over regular copper, right?
No, it was over copper. They would actually split the line from voice and data, and they were able to split it with DSL, so you could have either voice or data inside the house.
Jamie Francella, member of the 501st Legion. He's our resident Star Wars nerd. Or are they geeks? Sorry. there's a specific, but shout out to Jamie. So we had a modem, we had a local, what we had to have was an internet service provider, an ISP. AOL was like the biggest, the most popular for what seemed like 100 years, right? Everybody saw the AOL 3, AOL 4, AOL 5.5, AOL 6, these discs, these CDs that were mailed to your house so you can update basically your browser. Right? That was, you're basically updating your AOL browser.
Yeah.
And from there, you were connected to the internet through the AOL browser, which was really colorful and had all these big fluffy icons of like, you've got mail, you've got some letters, right? You've got mail. And then, these different chimes and stuff. And then there was like news within it and different like communities, but tabs, I guess, right? You can access different information through the AOL portal, right? Mm-hmm. I refused to use AOL. I for whatever reason, Greg and I, I followed his lead on this. He was the first nerd of my friend group, and for some reason, we started making fun of AOL. Like Jeremy at AOL meant like some 12-year-old did this with the crayon, right? Was like the joke for us. And then so I would go out of my way to use a local ISP, and then I was just that guy. So I remember calling like Betty's internet cafe or something. Like this is in like Nantucket, right there, right here in the middle of California. Calling her like on the phone, hey, blah blah blah. And then I don't remember how I paid. I don't think I paid over the phone. There was no internet to pay there. I think I had to mail her a check.
You weren't paying over the internet back then.
You weren't paying over the
internet. No one was putting their credit card on the internet back then.
No.
And so maybe we had to mail a check, and once she got the check, you could call her or some shit, or I don't remember how that part worked, but you would have to call her and she would tell you what to put in your TCP IP settings, DNS, and all the other things.
All your gateway.
There was this little, like, not a wizard, but this little, I don't know, it's this little thing like in the modem settings. You had to set some shit. You weren't just, plug and play. You weren't just clicking a link and all this stuff happens on the screen and bam, you're in. It wasn't like that. It was software. It wasn't web-based. It was software, obviously, right? We weren't even on the web yet. This is just to get the modem in the computer to access the internet, right? And then we got online and we went to our homepage.
But there wasn't much there.
No, we could use like GeoCities as our homepage. We in our browser.
GeoCities was like the first MySpace.
Was it?
Yeah, you could build your own. You could build your own community.
Oh, geez, that's so long ago.
The box.
Alta Vista.
Yep. That was a good search engine.
Alta Vista.
Excite.
Yep.
Lycos.
Yep.
Alta Vista was my favorite for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one we used. That was the go-to. Life on the internet in the Windows 95 days was brutal. We strived and we would use the benchmark of it's almost as fast as changing channels on your TV. That was the comparison. That was the benchmark we used. That was describe how fast your internet was. And everybody had a story where somebody they knew had this fast, lightning fast. It was almost as fast as changing channels. It was almost as fast as life at a 28.8 meant your house phone was busy. People weren't calling you. You picked up the phone and interrupted that connection.
That was the worst. Getting disconnected during a download.
Yep.
Yes.
Because they didn't, the downloads didn't resume back then.
Nope.
28.8 described how much data could be downloaded per second. That was the max. Are we talking? Is that what that was?
Bauds. 28.8
baud rate. Baud rate.
What is that? Michael, explain it to us.
Yeah, so 14.4K kilobits a second. So basically that was like your ceiling. So like you would never hit that, obviously, but that was the capacity of what that modem can handle. And then it went from 14.4, 28, and then you get to 56.
56 was kind of cool though. I remember
it was a game changer.
Yeah, 56 changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I was like, I don't remember it after that. Was after that we just went straight to cable?
We went to no, DSL came out with like 1.5 meg, and then you started seeing the lower one. You know, they started going up more and more from there.
I must have stayed on a modem until
I must have went straight to something through Charter cable.
I think that's when we got our charter.net email addresses.
Yeah.
You guys ever did like the Pac Bell or the AT&T?
I've seen those too.
Yeah, and other local. I had even jeepers. I can't remember my original email addresses anymore. With my original ISPs, because even at work, I worked in a corporation, and our department that needed internet access had dial-up modems. The company didn't have internet access yet. We had a local network, but that local network, there was no. The only connection to the network was if you had a firewall and they ran another phone line to your office.
And to add to that, before AOL, there's bulletin board systems that people would call other people's computers, and they'd have like a forum system, like playing games or talking, and that was before AOL. Those days, those were some.
So with a modem, you could directly dial another computer and connect and interact with it like a online bulletin board is now.
Yep.
I remember doing the Thrasher magazine bulletin board. We had another friend that was going to be on tonight. Maybe he'll be able to join us. Ray. He was the first kid I knew that had a modem. We were in like maybe ninth, and it was the weird science modem. You had to take the phone and put it on the. You had to put it on the thing.
That's cool.
Like your actual house phone.
Yeah.
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 That's so cool. That's so smart though, because people wouldn't disconnect because they know you're on the
You're actually using the actual house phone. Yeah, but just like Weird Science, he had one of those back in the day, and we would dial up the Thrasher magazine BBS. Look at pictures. Wait for pictures to download.
I want to take us back to 1995, 96, 97 probably, until that wonderful operating system Windows 98 came out. Raise your hand if you've lived through several operating systems and you have favorites and you have ones that are absolute crap. Windows Millennium. Hold on. I'm gonna play something for you. Here we are.
The startup sound. Of the original sound set. Yeah, that was and you would spend so much time customizing all that stuff.
Yep.
All your fonts and your cursors and your sounds and your desktop.
You could do that
with your whole, what was it, 128 colors or something you had, 256 colors.
And not everybody could do that, man. You could just right click, display properties, and desktop, and modify all that shit. And then later on, we got the ability to like fade the color from left to right, or like a gradient across open windows and shit like that. You can pick that.
That was like XP. That was more like Windows XP.
Was that an XP thing?
Yeah, XP got a little more three-dimensional because everything was really flat up until Windows XP is when they started adding little pieces to give everything kind of a 3D effect.
We had to wait for the monitors
on your windows, a little more animation stuff going on.
Yeah.
XP was huge in interface.
You know, looking back, all this technology kind of had to develop, you know, at the same time, but one like leapfrog. It's like back in the old days, they developed the TV and the TV camera at the same time. I never really fucking thought about that, but I mean, you know what I mean? You kind of do it at the same time. So when all this technology increases, you know, your hardware has to be able to handle it. And then when your hardware upgrades, it gives you more capacity, then your software can upgrade it. It's this constant kind of back and forth. So the internet grew when our video card technology grew. And then the hardware and the motherboard and the power supply and everything else could handle stuff like that. The processor that had to grow, and then your monitor, ability had to grow, and then the ability to transfer that kind of data through the internet had to grow. So it was there was only a ceiling for well, it was always a ceiling, you know what I mean? But it would always change. It always cost you another $150 for the upgrade. And then I mean, they got to design that shit to do that. So you can't just constantly upgrade the same motherboard, right? They'll up the voltage on it or something, or do something. The power supplies are no longer compatible, or some kind of marker where it's just they stop supporting stuff below and force everybody up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was building computers with Greg in the Pentium 200 megahertz days, Pentium P1 200s, P2 200s,
Pentium 75s and stuff. Yeah, my first
and
Pentium was a Pentium 75.
building those things, with the IDE slots, master and slaves, and the jumpers, installing DOS or installing.
Michael still does all that stuff today. That's what he does. He's still installing hard drives and building systems, and much bigger than personal computers. But
yeah, I do servers and stuff a little bit different than the PC, but yeah.
Did you start building PCs when you were a kid?
I did. I got to start building when I was younger, and for the last 20 plus years built, and then probably the last 5 years I was like, yeah, kind of done building PCs. I'm just gonna get the prefab ones and just get it done how I want to. I'm kind of
Right.
done with all the building now.
Yeah, I quit doing that. Just have it show up and working.
Yeah, especially now now you have like the liquid cool, right? Like today, and you have all these other things that you can do. I mean, back in the day, you had air cooled. Everything was air cooled.
Mhm.
How is the air going to flow back and forth? My first Pentium was a 133 compact Rosario.
The 133.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had the compact Rosario 133, and I will never forget. I had that, and then I bought an AMD Athlon. I think that was a
AMD, the
260.
Pentium and A&D fucking battle back then. Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy, when I got that, I was like, oh, it's gonna do wonders. Like within the 5 weeks, I had to take the side off and have a floor fan blown into it because it was overheating all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was just crazy.
And then video cards started getting fans on them.
Yeah.
Like I remember my last computer case had 12 fans in it.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
Now I run a laptop. Everything's on a laptop, but even the bottom of that thing is hot.
It does.
Mm-hmm. They do.
We've all built computers. We've all built the Windows 95 machines. Do you guys know or have a working 95 machine? I'm sure I could find one on eBay, but I'd be kind of cool to build one again. I mean, I'm sure that's, I don't know, a collector's thing, and somebody's already capitalized and made that shit hell expensive on it. But
I worked at a vinyl shop, and the machine that we used to cut, actually it ran the huge Roland printer that we had. It was print and cut vinyl, and it was run off of a Windows XP machine, and it was unupgradable. We had to keep it off of the internet because if you even touch the upgrade buttons, like it had to be a certain version of Windows XP to run this printer. So there's still some systems out there that rely on dinosaurs. Do you still see stuff like that, Michael, in your work where you go in somewhere and they got a XP box or something running?
Yeah, there's some like old programs that still use like old OSs, and I mean, I'm shocked that Cobalt is still out there today being used for green screen and stuff. But yeah, like a lot of green screen technology is still used. And so yeah, you still see a lot of. I don't think I've seen a lot of 95s or nine. No, I've seen a couple 98s actually in the last 2 years.
98 machines.
Yeah, 98 SE. And I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 XP boxes, probably at most.
Wow.
Like, are they doing work or on someone's desktop?
Just sitting
Uh,
in the garage.
Actually, they're turned on with a script running in the background, doing like one function because they don't want to migrate to a newer system.
Yeah.
That's
Right. That's basically where we were.
yeah.
So there's lots of stuff like that. Shackley was stuck like that. That's what was all their stuff, and they were panicking over Y2K. What was that
Yeah.
language that everything was written in? Was it COBOL?
I think it was Cobalt. I think that's what
Yeah.
I think it was. No, there seems like there was another not unit.
What was the Shackley extract? The Sextract file that we used to get off that. So we used to get a file from that server every day. That we ran the website off of a daily download of a comma delimited file off of this server.
We did.
Yeah, we used it as a
ran
database.
off a script or a text
Perl.
file.
It was all Perl based backend.
Oh my gosh.
I remember that code that they all their financial code was written in the technology from like the 60s or something. That code from the 60s.
Yeah, whatever that was that they were writing.
And all their
remember
all their processing code was written in that. That's what it was.
And everything was done in batch files.
It's old school shit, man. I mean, it worked up until 2006.
But I didn't grow up with a computer in my house. Neither did you, Jason. Like you didn't grow up. You didn't have.
I didn't get a computer until
high school
you got a computer. I didn't get one until you got one.
Did you grow up with a computer in the house, Michael?
So at first, no. My dad owned a auto mechanic shop, and he had a computer to like do the customer stuff and all that. And one of his mechanics was playing a game off a bulletin board system. And so when I would be there working, he'd be like, "Hey, try to log on to this game." And because back then when you did a move, you had to log off so somebody else can connect to the computer.
Yeah,
and do their move.
Yeah, the turn-based games.
Yeah. So he taught me on how to play it for my dad's shop. So I loved going to my dad's shop because it was like, I'm going to help my dad's mechanic play his game. And that's when I learned how to go into bulletin board systems and start playing games. And then my dad saw me do it, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good at this. Maybe we should, get a computer for the house." So we did. We bought an 8088, an old IBM, super old system. And I started learning on how to, use QBasic, DOS2, call up other people's, computers. I learned how to use a war dialer so I could dial random phone numbers and just crank call people, and then once they're connected, go to another. I mean, those were the that was before AOL. So when AOL came out, I didn't jump on AOL either at first because for me a GUI was weird. Like it was like I love command line. And so it took me some time to get used to using a GUI because I was used to playing on, command line games, all MUDs, text based and all that stuff. And yeah, it took me about probably about a year or so. But then in 95, I was 95. When Windows 95 came out, I was at Turlock High, and in their computer class, that was one of the things they taught was how to install Windows 95 on computers and how to build a computer.
It became a class in high school.
Yeah, so I jumped into that class fast because that was the coolest thing in the world. So yeah, that was kind of my upbringing into the early PC time of being a 9-year-old kid. I mean, we didn't have Google back then, but learning on how to use help files and everything else on how to code things certain ways, get a program to work, and all that fun stuff.
Hey, Michael, is that the Sword of Omens behind you?
Yes, it is.
Is that just
the Thundercat?
Yes.
Yep. It is. It is.
Not to be all screen, not to be eye hustling by your background, but
nerds.
Is that like metal? Is it like
they are all metal.
Okay.
All they have to do is
What?
be sharpened. That's it.
What's the story behind that guy?
So I'm in my future podcast room right now. And we'll
Nice.
have you over.
Nice.
But yeah, just got a bunch of wall with a bunch of swords on it. Bunch of just swords I thought were cool, and put them on the side of the wall.
Okay. Okay. I just caught myself trying to scroll up to look higher behind you. That shit's not gonna work. I did. I had the mouse up there and I was scrolling. I was looking. Yeah, I was trying to do that. Oh shit. Okay. I don't
The wall
recognize
of
other
swords.
ones. Are
There
there
is
any
a
other
what
notable or-
movie?
So we got Lord of the Rings right here.
Okay.
The main Lord of the Rings sword. I forgot what it's called. The Sword of Solomon. The Cursed Holy Sword. Thundercats. I think this is. I forgot which one this one is. But and then a couple of these other swords like this. I think this is the Robin Hood. Whoops.
Okay.
One of the Robin Hood swords, and then a Templar sword.
Okay.
But
I think
yeah,
it's Conan. Oh, that's not Conan. Conan had that big wide fucking blade.
yeah. I was looking for that one.
Dude. I was
Okay.
We'll have
looking
to have
for
you come
that
over
one.
sometime, man. We'll have to have you come over.
I'm
the-
in. I'm in. That'd
The
be
other
cool.
walls,
All right.
all shields.
Yeah, we got a bunch of shields on the other wall.
Okay. Do you fight? Are they-
It's
kidding.
part of
No.
it's part of the theme of his podcast.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You want to drop what it is? You want to hold that back for a second? I mean, us and our
We'll hold it back,
Yours?
but when we come out,
Fair.
we'll come out on here and we can even share it on here first.
Done. Yes. I love that. Okay. We'll do that. All right. Hey guys. The early days of the internet, there were no parental controls. There were just password protected. The only thing that kept kids out of adult sites or sites that weren't appropriate for kids or information was a password. Okay, we'll get into this in a minute, but you know what? If you went to a passwords with a Z site, you could get passwords, cracks, apps, whereas passwords were some of the early sites I remember trying to get passwords for. Of course, I wanted to go to Babylon.com, BabylonX.com. I think it's the only adult site I can remember from way back then. But one other website that didn't take a password that it's defunct, is no longer alive. It's not the first, but it was one of the first and probably the most, I don't know, just greatest shock website ever. And I found it. It's still alive. And I want to introduce two things while we do this right here. Look at this. If you go to the Internet Archive and you go to the Wayback Machine and you type in rotten.com,
Oh my god.
it gives you a calendar. And on those calendar dates, months and days of the month and months, right? It shows you when this Wayback Machine archived that website. You can go back to like 95 or 96 when it first opened, all the way to like, I don't know, 2006 or 7 when it finally had its last update or something, but something like that. But the Wayback Machine has archived those sites on several different days, per month for the last however many years. So there's a copy of it. Now, I picked somewhere in the middle because I wasn't visiting rotten.com probably after, I think the last time I went there was to see the Tupac autopsy. So what was it? Was that 96? 96, I'm guessing. Right?
Yeah.
Or no, so it could have been after. But anyways, that's the last time that I went there. All the gruesome things, all the death, all the shots, all the car wrecks, all the faces of death in just photos, right? And all the things you would think that would happen when your hand does get stuck in a wood chipper, or when you're not wearing your seatbelt with your feet on the dashboard.
And if you had a friend come over, that was the first thing you'd do, like, dude, you gotta see
oh
this.
my god, dude, rotten.com,
Dude.
shock value.
Yeah.
And then you play the modem sound.
Yeah.
Time to make your pizza rolls, grab your soda,
Yep.
come back, you're logged in, rotten.com. You have a few minutes before it actually loads everything. So I went and hold on, let me come back to this. So I went and I picked somewhere in the middle, and some of the images are broken. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but if you just keep going, not all the images are broken. And guys, I'll be honest with you. I 3 pictures and I went 4 and I'm like, yeah, that's rotten.com. I'm out. That was it. It took like 2 headshots and a car wreck. And I'm like, that's exactly what I remember. 100%, right?
It's still alive in different parts of the internet and being updated with recent gory footage.
Yeah, yep. Like what, in the Reddit threads or something, or in like other little
Reddit's
communities, or
pretty censored as far as that goes, but 4chan and stuff. And then if you
go
gotcha. Behind into the the back end of the internet, then I'm sure there's even more than that.
Yeah.
I want to play something for you guys, and this will going to lead us into this next little segment here. One of my favorite parts of the early internet was discovering this software, and I'm going to say this is the first time I ever messed with skins.
Were they the first ones to call them that?
How come it's not playing?
Play. Edit.
Winamp. It really whips the llama's ass.
One more time. One more time.
Winamp. It really whips the llama's ass.
We got to hear that every time we fired up my favorite MP3 player. What's an MP3, you ask? Oh, I don't know. It's the God-sent file compression system algorithm, whatever it is, that we got after CD audio, CDA files, right? We had CD audios. We had to buy all of our music on CDs. CDs sucked. You could scratch them. You had to have a copy. I bought the last CD I ever bought was Californication. I bought a copy for work. I bought a copy for the car, and there was a copy for home. So I was sick of leaving it at work, in the car, or at home.
Right.
MP3s come out, and you know what? It lost a little quality. Yeah, a little bit. But if I'm sitting at my desk at work, I don't need all that quality. I just need the words and some beat and a little bit of tunes and stuff, right? So it was a godsend. What happens when we get MP3s? We get Napster.
Best thing ever.
What happens when you're sitting with Napster, Winamp on a what were we on, Greg? At Shackley, a T3 connection, 1.5 miles from May West or some shit, whatever I used to brag about.
Yeah.
We were on a T3 connection. Oftentimes we were in the building by ourselves. Either they're hella early or they're just after hours, right? We were the web department. We own the building. We truly own the building, right?
I think by the time we were in Pleasanton in about year 2000, we had way faster than a T1. I think they were one of the first ones. I think they wired their whole building in Cat 6 when it first came out too, instead of doing Cat 5 when they built that building in Pleasanton. So the internal network speed, like when we played Quake after hours, super good times from my Quake server there on my desk.
They boasted that what was the boast that everybody in the building could send an email with 10 megabyte attachment at the same time, and it would be lightning fast or something. That was, I think that was the benchmark, but I don't know if it was a 10 megabyte file or I don't remember what, but that was the boast, right? That's how fast it was going to be.
Like that. Yeah, it was a lightning fast network at the time.
Greg and I also proved our worthiness, I guess, to the IT department, and they gave us both admin rights to our machines. We could just install our own programs and our own software. We showed that we were, responsible and savvy enough. That was the word. That was the catchword back then. You guys are savvy. So they gave us rights. So because we'd install and upgrade I think our argument was that we had to have multiple browsers, multiple versions, and we didn't want to have to put in a work ticket every time we needed a test.
I also
had something.
I had my own budget to buy my own computers and stuff. I didn't have to go through those guys to buy computers and upgrade hardware and stuff. So I could put RAM and hard drives and stuff in your guys' machines, and I didn't have to go through the IT guys. Some of the guys liked it, some of them didn't. We also had unrestricted internet access because by then they had like firewalls and whatever they called, not the firewall, but the other appliance that controls what websites you can go to.
Yep.
And they couldn't block our website access because we were stealing JavaScript and stuff from all over the place.
Yeah, you know the best place to get a JavaScript for pop-up code
Yeah.
for a pop-up window. So adult site.
Adult
Oh,
Can't have
God.
that pop up on your work history.
Oh,
I'm just
man.
I'm grabbing code.
They
I
were
need a pop
so
code.
innovative with HTML back in the day. The stuff that
Yep.
Yeah.
they were doing with basic HTML and JavaScript on porn websites was crazy.
I mean, they advanced the technology, right? I mean, they really advanced scripting and everything else to a level that everybody else was falling behind.
Yeah. I mean, just making it so you couldn't right click, making it so
Mhm.
to disable your mouse buttons, trying to keep it so you couldn't download files from them. Like
That was
all the stuff that they had to do.
Metallica.com.
Yeah, to protect their content and stuff. They
They
were
took
doing
away the
some.
right click.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
did.
And they were
So you
some of the
couldn't
first
kinda-
ones to
yeah.
stream, of course, to stream video. they were on the cutting edge of streaming video.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I worked for the Home Shopping Network at the time, and we were trying to figure out how to stream the TV channel Home Shopping Network on a website that we were building for the Home Shopping Network, and build a shopping website, build a shopping website that streamed the live stream all the time. And I had to hire this expert guy that knew about video streaming stuff back then, because no one was doing it. It wasn't a thing. And so, but he knew all about video compression and all this stuff back then.
Mm. Boy, video compression was horrendous back then too.
It was really bad.
Hmm. I don't know if this will get me in trouble or not, but I was the popular kid in my area because I showed my parents on how if you have an MP3 player in your car, instead of having to pop CDs in or out, or when they had a 6 disc changer back in the day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed them on how you could put 100 MP3s on a blank CD and play all your songs, in the car. My parents bought a burner so fast
Yeah.
to do that.
Right. Once
And
they
then
realized that you were using data capacity and not minute capacity.
Yep. And
Yeah.
then all the kids and everyone else and all my friends around were like, "Oh, can you bring me this? Can you bring me that? Can you bring me this?"
Yeah.
And yep,
You were
The
the
go-to
CD
burner
burner
guy.
guy. Copy.
Yeah.
I was the burner.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
expensive back then, dude. When they came out, you would pay $350 or something for a CD burner.
Ours was ours was about $600-700
Yeah,
because
see.
I told my dad wanted a fast burn. Like, how long do you want to wait?
And that was a
Yeah,
30X.
The
That was a
4X
56X.
and then the 8X and then the 16X came out.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Jeez.
Burning CDs. Did you ever use Jazz drives?
Hey, yeah.
What was that company called? I still have a bunch
iOmega?
of Jazz.
Was it?
Yeah, iOmega.
iOmega.
I wish I could. I probably could, I guess, if I did a little search. But
iOmega
I
jazz
have
drives.
30-year-old Jazz drives with some of my original stuff, like original box art from this game company that I worked for. That's how. Maybe the internal network wasn't that good, because we traded files on Jazz carts, and then there was a smaller version of Jazz. It was like Jazz was like a. I don't remember what it was. 100 megabytes or 1,000.
Yeah, I think it was like 150, and then they went up to like 500
And then
megs.
there was a smaller little blue version of it that only held like 100 meg, but it was better than using floppy disks or having to split your files on floppy disks and other stupid stuff that we had to do back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jazz
Installed disc 1 of 52.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? I didn't think about it, but I have a stack. I think it's like 11 of 17 Windows install discs on floppy. The blue ones, the red ones, the yellow ones, and green ones and shit.
The full sets.
I have a stack about this big, about that big. I don't know what. Fuck, I should have grabbed those things, man. My kid grabbed them. Early days of the internet, as bandwidth increased, download speeds increased, technology. We had a thing that was close to animation. We still didn't have true animation for the internet, but we had what was called Shockwave Flash. We had Flash. Animation.
Yeah. The most insecure shit ever.
Yeah.
They had to eventually get rid of it because of security issues.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the one responsible for keeping this alive. I want to be the one known for, hey, isn't that the one that Jason always played?
The Radiscal, and I will kill you all.
I brought you some coffee.
Devil Doll, is it boiling hot?
Just how you like it.
Give to Radiscal. Yes, now it's time to kick it. I am the Radiscal. I will kill you one by one. I am the Radiscal.
I wonder if we'll get a content mark on this one. What do you think?
Let me keep an eye on it. We might.
Really sharp teeth. Do you guys know this? Have you guys seen this? Greg,
Yeah,
you've seen it. I've
that's
shown
all,
this to you a
that's all
trillion times.
from that's all from what's his name? I'm trying to remember his name right now. I'm looking it up. What was the whole world that was all part of?
Newgrounds? No, E-Bombs World. No. I got some E-Bombs World shit coming up too. No, I got some of that shit. I don't remember where this lived. Is that what you're talking about? It was Newgrounds had a lot of shock, a lot of Flash games.
I thought this was all from the same guy who did
Hey, Ron.
like Strong Bad. Remember Strong Bad?
No.
Strong Bad. Oh, Homestar Runner. Remember Homestar Runner?
I don't.
Oh, that was some early Flash animation too. Super hilarious. Were you into the sillier side of the internet, Michael? Like South Park?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely back then.
The original South Park file that was like 73 megabytes and it took overnight to download.
Yep.
Socksmash.move.
Yeah, it was a MOV file that you had to download. That was, I think I still have a copy of the original Socksmash.move.
I have that somewhere. I saved it. It's sitting in a folder somewhere. It's the original South Park. It was actually cut out on paper and shit, right? And that was the one that was the
construction paper. Yeah,
that was the pilot. And
it wasn't.
You fat fuck. It's still one of the greatest fucking lines ever spit in fucking South Park.
My understanding was that they were hired to make a video greeting card for some guy to send to his friends. It wasn't meant to be a TV show. It just got passed around the internet so much that demand was there, and Comedy Central picked it up.
Oh shit! It was an accident. And then they gave $1 million software to make it look like.
I heard the story was they were given a chunk of money to do this, and told like you have to do all the production, but you can keep whatever's left over. So they went to like the local drugstore and bought a bunch of colored construction paper and made all the characters. They're like, we're gonna do this as cheap as possible if we get to keep everything that's left over. And they did stop motion with actual construction paper cutouts that they made.
It's really good. That shit's hella funny.
Creative.
All right, guys. There's another section of the internet that I spent a lot of time on. And again, I don't think this was the same time as the Windows 95 days. This is probably, 98 or XP or whatever. But I found these things. I think I want to call them I would say these are like the original memes. These are the original a picture's worth 1,000 words, but once the internet was born, now a picture's worth 10 words. Kind of like the opposite now. We've taken all the meaning out and given it one, right? I want to say when I found demotivational posters, and they live over at E-Bombs World. Now they have a lot of boobies in them and a lot of butts in them and a lot of, girls being sick, just a lot of boobies, of course. And that's why I was clicking through them. But these ones, I think, like I said, watch, I'll show you. These ones were the original memes. And this is a demotivational poster, right?
Those were seriously the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Dude, I have somewhere a box full of, so before there were memes like this on the internet and spread on the internet, there were guys like my grandfather who worked in the offices and stuff back in the 60s and 70s. My grandfather worked in an office that made telephones, like replica telephones that look like old Victorian telephones, but it plugged into a regular phone line. They made the original Mickey Mouse phone. So they they had the license from Disney. My grandfather worked on the team that made the original Mickey Mouse phone. So he worked in an office in the 60s and 70s, and he was an in charge guy. And they used to pass around memes printed on the photocopier. And someone would get a little funny from someone, and they'd take it to the office and make 30 copies and go leave it on everyone's desk in the morning. So when everyone got there was a funny. Like
that was the first viral meme.
Yeah, and my grandfather collected those for years when he worked in an office, and I have all of them in a collection in a box somewhere of my grandfather's old memes, analog memes, bro.
How many butts on the copy machine pictures do you think?
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I didn't get any booby ones. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not trying to get live banned either.
Oh man.
And they'd have the little arrow left and right. And I would sit there and just click through them, click, 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 and then look for more, click, 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 because they were
all out and die. And this was before you had a camera on both sides of your phone, I think, before you could take a selfie.
Yeah,
and you had to
because not everyone's cool enough to have a friend to take their picture.
Oh.
Gentlemen, the days of the early internet were special because we got to go out there into a world that wasn't regulated, that was still the Wild West. Google didn't hand everything to you. We still had to look for it even deeper. We are older than the Boolean search. We were performing searches before the operators and an or and but. Is that what they are? Or even were accepted or understood in a search engine, right?
Yeah, no, back in the day there was something called Gopher. It was like a Gopher protocol or something. Is that what it was?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That is, yeah.
But you could search. That was a searching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I just remember that. I just only remember that much about it.
Oh.
Gopher.
Is that a file seeker? A file?
Yeah, but it was searched across the internet. But it was a super basic search protocol.
Yeah. Yeah, like we didn't like back in those days, there was no Googling something to figure something out. There was no, you had to like figure it out, help files, or talk to your next door neighbor and see if they knew something.
Yeah. Gonzo, go to the library. go get a book.
I remember a car I owned had this weird, I called it a 10-minute no start kind of delay or whatever. Every now and then, so randomly, I'd put my key in, I'd turn it on, and it would just go click. The hazards would click, and then something up, another light would click. And I didn't have the Chilton's book, and I would start looking that up, and there was no websites on it. The dealer didn't have anything on it. And when I started looking at it, I couldn't find anything, and you it wasn't just in the first 2 or 3 search results, you know, and in the early days, you were clicking to the second page, third page, fourth page for
Yeah.
internet results. Today, I haven't clicked on a page 2 in the internet result in years, right? But back in those days, right? So this car had this problem for forever. And I remember looking for it and couldn't find it. And then like 6 or 7 months later, I started looking again and I found it. And that website or that information just didn't exist 6 months before that. It just wasn't freaking there. This was in a chat, like it wasn't a chat room, but one of those like
forum.
bulletin boards, a forum.
Yeah,
It was in one of
guys-
those.
Guys just talking like, hey man, my car won't start. And some guy that works for the dealership hops on there and is like, here you got to do this.
And my search results weren't highlighted in the results. It's just one keyword. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I better read this topic. Maybe I better read that topic. I better scroll and look for some stuff, right? So I found it. Good Lord, did I find it? I found it. What it turned out to be was, for whatever reason, my anti-theft system was being engaged and it locked out my fuel injectors. It had fuel. It had pressure. It had electricity. It had spark. It had compression. It had all the fucking things that it's supposed to have and start. I had that car towed home one time because it wouldn't freaking start. And by the time I got home, I got in and turned it on. It started right up again. I had no idea behind what was happening. But after reading that forum, what I learned was if I left the car on for 10 minutes and it would blink, 10, blink, 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 blink. After 10 minutes, it would stop. And I could turn the car off, turn it back on, it'd fire right up, and I could be on my way.
They're just making you
I
wait.
sold the fucking car.
Those anti-theft systems, dude, from the 80s, those anti-theft systems were garbage, dude. I had to
Locked out my injectors,
uninstall one time, or maybe from the 90s. All those, like, you had to put a little chip underneath the dash so the car would start and stuff. I had to take one of those out of my grandma's truck one time. It was one of the worst jobs ever. Yeah,
I remember those chips. It was supposed to be the fancy thing.
Yeah,
well, I got a chip.
My grandma thought it was so cool when she got the truck. They had the anti-theft. Look, it doesn't start without the chip. I have a Volkswagen in my driveway right now that has that.
Dang.
I was one of the people who thought that was cool too. And then I thought it was even cooler when people would come by the car and it would say, "Please step away from the vehicle." Like,
yeah.
I remember those. Snake or Cobra or something. I think it was one of the models that was a talking intruder. Step back.
Yep.
Step back. Step away from the vehicle. I was like, oh fuck.
And then once all the thieves figured out how to bypass that became a tell. They knew exactly what alarm system you had, and they knew how to go around it. So it was like, okay, take that voice off my car. It's no fun anymore. It made your car like Knight Rider. I think that's why everybody wanted that back in the day. So
100%.
And your car would talk to people.
If your car could talk, I have a fucking car. Fuck
yeah, away. Yeah, dude. Especially if you could give it Kit's voice.
The early internet was not a place we just decided to go real quick. It took time. It took planning. It disrupted your household. It took over the one house phone that most of us had. It took a minute to get in. In clicking around websites wasn't as fun back then. You kind of had to. I remember going to Greg's house, sitting down in front of the internet the very first time and going, "What do you want to look for?" And I'm like, And Greg goes, "Do you want to know the first thing I search for in the internet?" I'm like, And if I remember correctly, what you told me was you searched for Metallica. It was the first thing you typed into a search engine.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happened. I'm not sure. I don't know if anything came up, but I don't know. But if I remember that story correctly, I could be goofing it, but that's the first thing you typed into a search engine. And while I was sitting down, maybe that was the first thing I did. Maybe I did that also. Or something. I probably picked a different band just to be fucking cool. Right. I have no fucking idea what it is now, but I remember that sitting down at your house for the first time at the browser
and singing internet
at the browser, doing the internet.
Doing the internet.
Doing the internet. Yeah. And then having to call your ISP if something happened, you had a relationship with that guy, or, if your internet went out, and check the phone lines. And it was a process, man. It was a process. I certainly never imagined having blazing lightning faster than you can change the channels on your TV in my pocket. Never would I have ever imagined I'd have a screen that's everything that I was always told I would never have to carry around with me. Fucking calculator. I have a calculator this way, and it's a scientific calculator this way, right? I have that shit. I have a TV. I have a video camera. I have a camera. I have all the fucking things, right?
All in one.
Kids
Video
today
games.
have no freaking idea what it was like to sit down at a Windows 98 machine, a Windows ME machine, or a 95 machine, God forbid, and all your games are on either floppy. You're coming out of floppy disk and going into CDs. Raise your hand if you've installed a Tappy CD-ROM drivers.
Right.
Yeah.
To install your CD-ROM so you can install Windows, because you have a brand new Windows 95 or 98 disk to put in.
Fresh machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Installing drivers from DOS so that you can even get to Windows.
Yep.
Yeah.
When did you get
Partitions,
internet,
all that
Michael?
shit, dude.
Oh, internet. I want to say it was 94, 93, 94 when I had internet.
That's about right.
And then my mom was pissed off because our computer was inside the garage. And so she'd go use the phone, and she'd hear all the noise because I'm on, it would disconnect. And then I can hear it through the speakers, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so about 93, 94. But to add real quick to the first search that I ever did, I was going through ICQ and trying to look up different things to download and all that. And I got in some weird rooms, and people kept saying ASL, 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 and I didn't know what that meant. So I went to search it, and the first thing that came up was sign language. And I'm like, why in the world are people asking about if you know sign language or not? I was so confused.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what the heck? So then I'll never forget, I talked to one of my buddies, and I was like, dude, I was in some ICQ, and people are kind of weird. He's like, why? I was like, they're asking for ASL. And I was like, why are they asking about sign language? He was like, bro, really? He was like, age, sex, and location. I was like, that's not what the internet said. You're wrong. So back in there,
I searched it.
Yeah.
Identify yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I learned that one the hard way.
ASL. Yeah, I remember all the acronyms you had to know to be in those chat rooms and stuff back then.
AWK. We did a few chat rooms at Greg's house. I think the computer was in the kitchen, right? Wasn't the computer in the kitchen?
Yeah, it was like the dining room area. I took.
Yeah,
over
it was over there. Yeah. That part.
Room.
And going into chat rooms and doing music trivia and stuff. Do you know who sings this song? Do you know who sings that song? It's barely the 90s. We're doing 80s trivia.
Yeah.
This shit's not. Some of the songs aren't even 10 years old yet. You know what I mean? But
seriously.
But that was the early days of the chat rooms. Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizard. Easy for me to say.
I don't know where that was from either. You didn't download that from the internet. That was pre-internet too. Like the dirty video games.
Those are the dirty video games, yeah.
I think my dad had a copy of that. Is why we had that.
He did, or it was yours, because we saw it at your house. We did, most certainly. Days of the early internet was a chore. It was a task. It was a process. It was rough. It was fun because it was new, and we still waited for things like true animation. We waited for things like, true radio or true TV. We wanted to change channels on the internet like we did on TV. At least that's kind of what I was picturing the internet might go to. And you know what? It didn't. It did not. It went in a completely different direction. Today's internet and, the internet we didn't have influencers. We didn't have people trying to, we had somebody who made their own page, right? With lettered centered down the middle, right? With a twinkly star background, right? With some banner ads across the top.
Yeah, GeoCities.
Yeah.
The GeoCities
right?
page.
Pictures of your cats, your story or whatever, right?
Yep.
That's what we had. And we didn't have likes. We didn't have follows. We didn't have social anything. We didn't have feed you media. We had to go to somebody else's page and we couldn't even leave a comment. We just had to read it. It was a static page. And we had to hit the refresh button for anything different to happen, right? That's
Yeah.
the internet that we grew up on. We grew up on with what's the name of those MIDI sounds was the first audio
Yeah,
we had.
MIDI
You
files.
know, was it the little 8-bit? Is that what that shit is? Or just, you know, like it's like 16 tones or
Now I can
something?
watch I can watch my UPS driver live coming to my house in his truck,
Right.
or watch my DoorDash driver come down my street.
Paying for internet by the minute.
Yeah, by
Paying
the
for
minute.
internet by the
That's
minute.
all that by the
Using
minute.
minutes.
Yeah, they got us with that for a long. They treated it like long distance. Remember long distance minutes?
Yeah.
And
Long
then you got
distance calls.
internet minutes. Then you got cell phone minutes.
Yep.
You want to charge us by the minute, bro?
Yep.
Then it became data caps. Like, yeah, you were paying more $49.99 for the 4-hour AOL plan. Otherwise, you got what, like 2 hours a month
Yeah. And something like that in the beginning.
for
How
$9.99.
did local ISPs work? I mean, we just paid our money for the month and we just had 24-hour access. We weren't regulated by minutes, right? If we went through,
Gosh,
Mhm.
who was
you know,
that?
Becky's Sunshine fucking service provider or whatever.
Yeah,
I had AT&T, Pac Bell. I had Pac Bell for a while, and we would use Netscape Navigator would be kind of like your go-to page you would use to go search on the internet. But yeah,
Do you remember which version?
yeah, browsers.
I don't remember the version.
Well, I asked because Greg and I worked together. We built websites together, and part of our code testing was Navigator 4.7, and then it was IE4, IE3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, even Netscape
IE4?
3 and stuff back in the day, having to code
These-
for when you build a website, you have to code for all the browsers, so everything
Yeah.
has to be cross compatible, and it's a giant hassle. And Netscape was the worst.
It was
We-
that
we
was
hated
that was the baseline. If we could write for that and it would look good, you know, IE handled it just fine. You know what I mean?
I mean, and even for years, we had to test on the AOL browser.
No emulators. We actually had to have the browser. We had to have certain versions, right?
Yeah, or you
I
had to
don't-
have a computer. You had to run different. If you were doing it right, you were running different operating systems.
Yeah.
You would. I had a guy that worked for me that did all that stuff. He'd had
Shout out Robert Carradine.
a Mac machine, a Windows, all the different versions of Windows, a Linux or Unix machines, and he was testing all the different browsers to make sure our website didn't break when you tried to fill out forms or
Just look and feel, man. Just the whole thing. So
make sure
Um,
stuff didn't fall apart.
that was fun. That was fun part of the internet for me too, because I got to be, on both sides. Well, all three sides. I got to be on the building the machine side, some of the code writing side, some of the script and code writing side, and I got to be on the end user side. Having the understanding of how the back end worked and how just all these things worked was really cool. Like, for example, I didn't have to log into your email on my home computer. I could go read view source on some of those, and if I didn't drop it in a browser, if I did drop it in a browser and it wasn't connected to the internet, the header information wasn't read, so it didn't try and parse it again and repopulate it. I could just read what was already there. And the images
Yeah.
didn't work and the links were broken, but you know what? I could read the body of the email.
True.
Yeah.
Not saying you had to read somebody else's email way back in the 90s, but you know what? I could because
Yeah.
I understood how the view source code worked. I understood how that shit worked, right? This is a funny story. God bless her heart. We're besties today. But a good friend of mine way back in the day, bless her heart. She had put a little pirate software on my computer, on our home computer, as gyks .exe, got your keystrokes. It was a key logging program, and it would take screenshots and store them. Right. So anytime whoever's on the computer, it'd log all the keystrokes and then take screenshots and then just store them. Well, one day I noticed my computer filled up. I'm like, holy shit, my storage is full. I'm like, okay. back in those days, we had a search function. We could search by files recently created. We had that checkbox. Check that box, and all of a sudden, all these weird files started showing up. These whatevers. And I'm like, what are they? So if you take those and drop them in a browser, well, guess what? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But these ones worked, and they were screenshots of just random stuff, whatever program. They were just like these pictures of like my stuff, and I'm like baffled at first. And then I saw these text files, and I started reading these text files, and I'm like, because there's other characters, there's other stuff in there, but if you could read it, you could read what was written, not what was received, just whatever was typed, right? And I put all that shit together, and I'm like, okay. We've talked about all this, and we laugh about this today, but I put all this together. I'm like, okay, all right. So I deleted the pictures to make room on the machine, and I went back to my desktop, and I just started typing shit. I wasn't in a program. I wasn't on WordPad, or I wasn't typing onto anything. I was just keystroking, like fucked up shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And then, waiting to see if it would ever come to life, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But 500 years have passed, and we laugh about that shit now. But just again, going back to the early days of the computer, we don't have access to our computers like that anymore. And, we don't really download the source files like that anymore. It's no longer just an HTML file. A lot of stuff is, it's created differently. It's fed differently today. So we don't have the view source like we used to back in those days. Right. And a lot of the other safeguards, or, there's a lot of more safeguards in place today than there were back then. So
you can still turn a cell phone into a listening device and all kinds of other stuff. I know.
Yeah.
I know Michael knows more than he can let on in this podcast here.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, you can still do the whole view source and stuff, and emulate, and find a lot of different. I mean, I would say actually, in a lot of ways today, it's in some ways even more insecure today than it was
really,
back in our days. Yeah, I would say today,
wow.
And the reason being is because back in our days, I mean, you had to actually work on building a website, right? Like you actually had to like go in and do it. I mean, today you can get a 7-year-old to build a website, because it's so easy to do and create. And these people are not looking at safeguards. They're not looking at like how to lockdowns. Like you could probably take some of the source code from a site, and they're probably doing it in VB, like a little text box, and not encrypting anything on the back end, and just go into a database, of putting in a username and password. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's secure. I would say there are some people who do secure sites for sure, but I would say there's a lot of sites that probably aren't as secure.
They're just out of the box and just
Yep.
Well, so if we needed access to the cameras in the Walmart that's closest to your house, how long would it take you to get into that system?
Oh man, I mean it would be a good challenge. I mean, a lot of closed, a lot of people who say they're CCTVs aren't really CCTVs. And there's a lot of ways that you can tap into other systems and get into them. I mean, you got Bluetooth today, Wi-Fi. People don't, hey, how do a CCTV system? A lot have Bluetooth on them, and they don't even have that as a group policy on it. Having it turned off, and if they have a phone next to it, right, and you can get into the phone through Wi-Fi or through a cell tower, you can get to a CCTV system no problem. But yeah, and I mean today with AI on top of that, I mean getting into any system that's not complex, less than 24 characters today with the technology we have. I mean, you can figure those hashes out within a few hours. I mean, it's pretty quick. That's why MFA or multi-factor authentication is,
Duo. We use Duo,
Yeah.
or we do that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. This is very important.
So you're a proponent or an advocate for dual authentication.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been in places where you have to have 3. You have to know the password, have a device on you, and use a biometric.
A YubiKey or something we call them over here. We have those.
Yeah.
We got those.
I used to have a VPN at work that we used to have to carry like a little pager device, and it had a little number that changed all the time. And when you VPN'd in, you had to put that number in. And it's basically like what's the program I have on my phone that does that now? I carry a little. Google just bought them. What are they called? I have an app that does that now. So it's not a technology that's gone. What is this thing called?
A Google Authenticator.
Yeah, Authenticator.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just randomly generating 6 digits numbers
Yep.
every 15 seconds.
yep, yep. Those are good to
We run that
use.
shit.
They're good to use.
Yeah, it seems like a good way to do it.
Except when you leave your work phone at home, well, you need it anyway, but you can't even log in without it. I mean, I remember my shit, but I've seen other people fucking. My phone said,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know what? I got to work one morning. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Update. I'll go ahead and just update this. I'll just go ahead and log in, jump in, go grab some coffee, take a dump, come back. You know, whatever. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm not logging in until my update's done. No, just not. Just not going to happen. Geeky tech shit. So, hey, that's all I got, fellas. That's all the notes and stuff I have, man. I know there's there's acres of data we did not cover. Acres of data. How's that? Pretty
Mhm.
accurate. Acres of fucking
that
hard
is-
disk space or digital space we did not cover
That is
about
how
the
we
early
measure
internet
data.
in acres.
Yeah, we definitely measure data in acres.
You know what we didn't get into a whole lot, and that's all right. Is the apps cracks, Juarez, and password lists, and basically that was just password dumps and email or username and password combos. There's just a big list of that stuff. Or
Yeah,
apps.
those or being able to get a serial number for your app out of
Serials,
a place
yeah.
and just
Yep.
trying stuff until you got something to work so you could have a working version of Photoshop.
Yes, 100%. I did that the last time I did that. I had a working version of Pro Tools, and
Yeah.
it was a pretty modern version for the time. I was worried about the virus on it. I don't think I was running virus, like legitimate virus software. I think I was running like Defender or whatever that comes with
Hell
Windows. But I didn't
no.
have
That stuff
I didn't
slows
have
your computer
anything.
down.
And so that's another thing we didn't even talk about. Some of the habits that at least that I had, and I know I got them from Greg, is the first thing you go in when you move into a new computer, black background, set your color, set your tone, your resolution, all that stuff, and set all that stuff up just like that, right? And the first thing you do is, for now I turn off automatic updates, and then I turned off the the virus software because it slowed down your computer. Go over to your taskbar over here and start shutting shit down. Your sys tray starts shutting it down so you can allocate more resources to gaming or whatever it is you're doing. Right? See, we don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to fuck with that shit anymore. But that was fun. I
Kinda.
felt
Now it's like you get a new computer and it runs really good, but then after 6 or 9 months, then you start going like, "Hey man, what's slowing my computer down?" You go, "Man, this antivirus software is slowing me down."
Yeah.
And now I get to run antivirus software for about a year or so, and then I gotta uninstall it.
that's the
Yeah.
trial period, or
Yeah, or that's just I don't know what Windows just sits there and gets updated and it just gets all bloated and keeps
Yeah.
getting slower. My laptop right now is just starting to do that. I'm like, and you can't trust any of those programs. You used to be able to get a program that would like clean up all your temp files and go through your registry and get rid of old registry entries, but I don't trust
Yeah.
any of those programs to do any of that anymore.
I'll do it myself. I'll defrag myself.
They're scamwares. So I don't know how you're supposed to keep a Windows machine. Do you hate Windows, Michael?
Oh, that's a good question. Not really. I think Windows today is very commercialized for, for the new user. I kind of like Mac. I think Mac is, I mean, I'm kind of biased because I worked for them for over 10 years, but I think they have a pretty good, clean operating system. My only problem with Mac is I like to game a lot, so it's like, Mac doesn't do
Yeah.
the best in gaming. Um, but I think it's gonna be interesting to see though. I think you're gonna see some new OS coming out in the next, 3 to 5 years. We'll be seeing some new things coming out.
Yeah, Windows is gonna get put away.
I don't think we get put away, but I mean, I was seeing some people starting to really use AI and starting to make their own OSs with AI and really customize and stuff, which looks pretty cool. Um,
Hmm.
and because they don't have to use a bloat, they can kind of streamline it, be driver specific, right, and not have like all these other extra drivers and processes and stuff. So yeah, AI is making some very big um disruptions, I would say, in some areas where people are like, oh shoot, we might not be the king of the mountain for a long time.
It's crazy to watch how all these companies have turned over like that over the years, and you're like, "Oh, these guys are never going anywhere." And then they get bought by a bigger company, or these new companies come along, and you're like, "Who are these guys?" Like, who are the music streaming guys? Like, I've watched all this stuff come along, and they turn into giant companies. Who's
Like Spotify.
what is it? No,
Like
before
Spot-
Spotify. And they would just play you random music. Who was that? The other Spotify.
Pandora.
Yeah, like
Pandora.
I remember when Pandora first came out, I was like, "Oh, it does music based on your interests." It was like, "Oh, that's super cool." And then it
Yeah.
was like ads. They 2 or 3 years you got to enjoy it, and then it's ads, and then if you want to get rid of the ads, you got to pay.
Of course.
It was like
Buy your music
yeah.
again.
everything got
Our-
ruined. That's what happened to the internet. Was it just got?
Oh, ruined.
It's like that was the most annoying thing about TV, was having to watch commercials all the time. So it was like, oh, cool, the internet. We can get around, or cable was supposed to be that. Get around commercials, pay a cable bill, so you're not broadcasting over an antenna, and then you don't have to pay, or you don't have to watch commercials anymore. And then the internet was like that. And it was like no ads. And then ads were everywhere. And then ad blockers came out. And then ad blockers came out. And it's like,
Yeah, it's a
It's
fucking
just
brutal
been a-
war, dude.
it's this constant fight to put, and I'm a marketer, like that's kind of what I do. So, and I'm a marketer on the internet. But
Yeah.
I seriously hate online advertising, man. It's just, unless it's done really well, which is, I guess,
Well-
kind of like TV ads.
I mean, talk about back in the day, right? I mean, until we had good internet, I mean, Netflix took out Blockbuster, right? No more VCRs, no more VHS tapes. Internet got
The
strong
same-
enough.
Same thing. Like, I remember renting DVDs through Netflix. I was on the 5 DVD plan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I paid $15 a month for the 5 DVD plan instead of $9.99 a month for the 2 DVD plan or whatever.
Yep. And then now look at today. We're back to commercials on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And now the price for all these streaming platforms almost equals the cable with ads. and
Yeah.
Commercials.
It's insane. And now you got to subscribe if you want to, oh, let's watch this movie. And you're like, oh, well, we don't subscribe to Peacock, so we can't watch that. It's
Hey,
this
that's why
weird thing.
torrents are making a comeback right now.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
forgot about torrents.
We're all just gonna go back
BitTorrents,
to
right?
torrent files. Yeah,
Yep.
BitTorrent. That was after Napster. Yeah,
Yep.
torrents were huge. That's where
Yeah.
I did way more on torrent stuff than I ever did on Napster.
Oh
Mm,
man.
I
Good old
grabbed-
Pirate Bay.
Yeah, Pirate Bay, because movies,
Pirate Bay.
tons
Pirate
of
Bay was the
movies.
movies.
You could get full series. Like, you could just download The Sopranos. Like,
Yep.
that was, instead of buying it at Best Buy on the DVD set for $180 or something for all the seasons, you
Yep.
could just download it on Pirate Bay. And then
We used to
just
get movies before it hit the theater.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't like any of that stuff.
They did not like that shit at all. No.
Oh,
Pirate Bay. I remember Pirate Bay, there was a big deal. It went down and then came back up or something. It finally got busted. I remember reading about all that shit or something. And
Yeah,
it
they
came
were
back up, but it
in-
wasn't the same or something.
They were in Denmark or something. Yeah, and then it became like piratebay.de or some other thing. And there was a bunch of different versions of it. You could never tell if you were on the real one. And then a lot of the downloads, like, I think the company started seeding Pirate Bay with a bunch of crap. So you download something that looked like a movie and you get the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, file
That
size
was-
looked good, file name looked good.
Yeah.
That was a thing on Napster as well. It's like Eminem did it. They flooded the Napster file sharing
System, yeah.
with their version, which had repeats.
gets-
It would just loop. It looped like the first. Like, you listen to the first couple of minutes, and the file length was right. The song the length was right, and you would listen to the first 30 seconds, or whatever. They would just loop, And then you started seeing titles. I remember this: no Cervantes, no loops. It would say Cervantes. I guess that was the guy who was pirating all this, whatever, and
Yeah.
like 4 sets of parentheses, and then it would say no loops, and it would say real, but all in like 3 or 4 sets of parentheses as the title, right?
Yeah.
And then it was whatever Eminem song or whatever song it was out there.
LimeWire. Yeah, that was the other one.
Well, yeah.
I used LimeWire because Napster got shut down. I have a screenshot. It's on that hard drive that hopefully you have. On that screen, I took a screenshot of Napster and I searched for music and it said no results found. And it had a little pop-up box, no results found. Okay. And music was in the search bar. And I took a screenshot of that shit and I saved it. And I should have emailed that shit to myself. But so far, it's probably on the desktop on that hard drive that hopefully you have from 2003.
Probably.
I wonder if I did email that to myself. I've had the same Yahoo email since 99, something like that.
Yeah.
I have the first email I ever received.
I got it. I got a private invite to Gmail before it was public. From another guy. Like everyone that got in got 5 invites or 15 invites that they could give out. Chris Jones invited me to Gmail. Yeah.
Nice. That guy. Anyways, that's gonna do it for us tonight, folks. Hey, Michael, I want to thank you for jumping, bro. Thank you, man. I mean,
yeah, bro.
Thank you for jumping in. Total last minute, and you know what? Greg goes, I got us a good guest. Blah blah blah. He's gonna know his stuff. And hey, you know what? You geeked out just like the rest of us. And I'd be willing to bet that if we jump deeper, he could probably out geek us. And I appreciate that. I love that. So
he could.
It's nice. It's awesome.
He does it for a living. So I don't do it for a living, and neither do you. So
no, I'm talking about the old days.
Yeah, he's a professional.
It's awesome. Thanks for jumping in, dude. Appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, anytime.
For sure.
My name's Jason.
And I'm Greg.
Well, Michael.
Peace out, everybody. Don't hang up.
We didn't warn you about that part.
Oh yeah, don't hang up. This is our outro. I'll do that because I can pop and break. I'll pop against you. Michael, do you pop or break?